Welcome to how to create a customized cue sheet and map using the TBN Club account in Ride with GPS. So the very first thing we want to do is we want to make sure we are back into the home section of our page on Ride with GPS. Next, you want to make sure that you're in the correct tab. We want to be in the Profile tab, that's over here on the left. Move down from there and you'll see the clubs. That section there contains, of course, the Toronto Bicycling Network, and you'll see our wonderful little icon. So I'm going to click on that, and voila, there's our page. So this is the club account page. You know you're in the club account because it'll say Toronto Bicycling Network. It'll say over here that it says Club Help. Over here is our calendar of events. Now currently only rides that actually use events will show up here. So anything that is there will actually be part of the club account, and you can use your privileges with that club account. However, we also have a route library down here, and anything that's in this route library, from country cruise, Wednesday wheelies, Sunday tourist rides, easy rollers, urban rollers, you name it, if it's there, you can actually make a custom print. Today, we're going to actually go to the event. The first event of the year happens to be the Sunday Tourist Unionville Brunch. It's also the first ride of the season. So I'm clicking on that, and that brings me to the event page. Now, one of the great things about when you have an event page is that programs like almost every single tourist program, such as Sunday Tourist, Wednesday Wheelie, Country Cruise, they usually have multiple rides or multiple routes within one ride. So, and Sunday Tourist being no exception to that, we have 3 rides. So I'm going to go over here to the bottom left, click on a button that says Show All on Map. You'll notice all of a sudden, over here on the right side, all 3 routes are there. If you want to see a specific route, let's say the longest, which is 100 kilometers, click on that and you'll see that's now black, and then it's outlined right there. So there you can see the 100. Now you'll see the 75 or mid-range route. If I go up again, you'll see the short route, the 60K route. Today, we're going to actually work on the 74K route. So I'm going to click on that, and that just brings it up by itself. Then I click on Go to Route. And that takes me to the route. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go on the left side, you'll see Print PDF, and I'm going to print the PDF. So I click there. Perfect. Now this screen here is a new window. And this is what allows us to do the printing. In fact, what it actually does is it allows us to create a PDF. Print the PDF afterwards. So in this case here, we first deal with the page size, which is US letter. Then we use units. I generally use metric. I think most cycling people do use metric these days. I want to include the map, so it says yes, and I want to include a cue sheet. You can change the title of your PDF. I'm going to just simply make it 74K. Also, I'm going to change the footer since there isn't one. You don't have to. You can keep it the same blank, or I'm putting in Toronto Bicycling Network, so you know where it's coming from. Now, we have our map options. Portrait means the vertical position, so this is going to be vertical. I'm going to not put points of interest. So the points of interest would be your start and ending point, our rest stop here about midway in the ride, and our lunch destination over here, Unionville. Those would all appear over here on the right side of the printed map if we were to include them. I don't want to. That takes up space and it clutters the map. Next, our next options are for things that do get printed. I do not generally like having things like the description and coordinated grids on these because, again, they actually distract from the map. However, I generally like having the elevation profile that shows you the hills and valleys. You know, you can kind of guess where in the ride is going to be the hardest part of the ride and plan accordingly. I also like to have the cue sheet icons with their green numbers placed right on the actual track. That allows you to compare it directly with the cue sheet. The distance markers, which usually, actually this is a small enough rod, they'll probably be every 5 kilometers. They'll be in white with black letters. Those allow you, again, to tell you where you are from the beginning of the rod. Go down a little bit further here, and we have cue sheet options. So again, we're in portrait mode, which is the vertical mode. In this case here, we are set up for the one column across and one column down, and it's at the largest font size. So this is now set up so that it is actually very good for people who need reading glasses to be able to read the text. We're going to make sure that the abbreviations are on, so that gives us a little bit more space. And a new feature that came out just in the late fall is showing the columns over each label. So you no longer have to guess what the actual number or symbol or description says. So here's our different columns, and you can actually move them around. I don't want to use distance from last, so I'm going to actually just put that down here at the bottom because it just doesn't matter. Because it's not clicked, if I clicked it, it's active. If it's unclicked, it's not active. That's the same with anything else here, but I kind of enjoy this particular order, where you have a cue sheet number first, distance from the start in kilometers second, a label indicating a left turn, a right turn, if it's a food stop, etc. The detailed notes tell you where you're going, so what road you're changing onto, or what particular convenience store, restaurant you're going to be stopping at. Finally, quite important too, your distance to your next cue. I now scroll to the bottom, and I hit Generate PDF. Get this nice wonderful symbol, which means it's some form of Microsoft Windows running this. And in this case, because I'm using Firefox, I'm going to click on it to use PDF Pen to open the file. So I click Open, and voila. We've got our printed page here. First thing we have is the map. Now, I'm going to zoom in. You can see all these numbers here. Now, this green number here, that is the cue sheet number, and that's on the cue sheet. And this white number here is the distance. So that's 25 kilometers from the start, which is over here. Q19 is an interesting one. It's a major turn. And it's a difficult turn, actually, on this particular course. As you can see, with the numbers ascending, this is a counterclockwise route at that point. So I'm going to go over here to the cue sheet. I'm going to look for 19. Q19 tells me the cue happens at 28.3 kilometers. It's going to be a right turn. This details what it's going to be. It's going to be a turn onto Leslie Street, which becomes Van Dorp Side Road. At the 2 kilometers later, I'll have another cue to turn. In this case, it'll be turn left at Woodbine. So this is, again, in an easier format to read. The main disadvantage of this particular format is that more than likely you'll need to have at least 2 pages to do your cue sheets for a medium-sized ride, which, at least in tourist terms, a medium-sized ride would be around 75 kilometers. This takes up a lot of real estate on your handlebar. This is a huge cue sheet and requires the largest plastic cue sheet holder you can get. So I'm going to use a smaller one. I don't have an issue with farsightedness. I can actually read pretty small text. I'm a nearsighted kind of guy. So I'm going to go back into my interface here, and I'm going to switch the option here from 1 row and 1 column to 2 rows and 2 columns, and I'm going to reduce the font size to 10. Now another thing I'm going to do is, I wasn't really happy with that map. It was kind of small. Now you can do a few things here. It's a bit hit and miss, but what you can do is you can zoom in, zoom in beyond what it originally was, and since it's now outside of the area that's printable, this will now print as a larger size. Unfortunately, what this usually means is that you have to make 2 or 3 maps. Unfortunately, you don't get much more control with that with ROM GPS. It's one of the few drawbacks of running with GPS, but that's 2 or 3 extra pages that you have to print, as opposed to bringing an entire map book with you. So I'm happy with the font size. I'm happy with the columns. Still printing in portrait mode. Though last time I did it with a profile, I'm going to get rid of the elevation profile, so that gives me more room. And I'm going to generate the PDF. And you'll see a major difference this time between this particular PDF and the previous one. So again, I open it up in my PDF reader. Now, you might have Adobe Acrobat as your reader. That's fine. That's an excellent one to use. I have something else because I'm on a Mac. So, you can see now I have more detail on this map, and for a change it actually worked. As I said, it's hit and miss with this particular software when it comes to creating the actual map. So, I have a larger map, and I have a smaller cue sheet. So these squares can go in, and I can usually get about anywhere from 14 to 10 cues per pane, if you want to call it that. As you can see here too, that's a disadvantage compared to the larger font over here on the right, where we have everything at once, and I have, in this case here, I have 27 cues at once. I don't have to go flipping around the paper. In fact, when I print like this, I have both styles of cue sheet holders. The large size, if you print this double-sided, I actually just flip it over, and I have the next set of cues. On this, unfortunately, if you fold it along the fold lines and put it into the small size cue sheet holder, you're going to have to bring it out, and you're going to have to then refold it and get the next page with the next set of cues on it, which can be difficult at times, especially when you're moving and if there's any kind of wind. So it's your choice, and because you can make whichever choice you wish, it's up to you to make it. And we've given you the tools to do it. So hopefully that was useful, and hopefully you'll come back and we'll have another set of videos on some other aspects of the TBN Ride with GPS Club account. Thank you.